G'day, welcome to the first episode of A Room of Her Own. My name's Tanja Kovac. I'm the CEO of Gender Equity Victoria, which is an organisation committed to gender equality and representing women and gender diverse people across this wonderful state of ours. And we thought that given so many people are staying at home, trying to flatten the curve before COVID-19 swamps our hospitals and our health services, that we would put together a regular videocast bringing people into the homes of women and gender diverse people to explore the challenges that presents, but also what does a pandemic mean for women? What does a pandemic mean for gender equality? Because we're already seeing that there are significant issues for women across Victoria. Women are performing at the coalface of some of the core caring professions that are going to get us and the Australian and Victorian economy through the next 6 months, whether it's teachers in schools, nurses caring for the people who are in ICU units, or the retail staff that are working their butts off to make sure that we have toilet paper to clean our butts. Women are at the front line of COVID-19. It was Virginia Woolf who said that a woman could not be a successful writer if she didn't have her own independent money and a room of her own. Well, we would argue that over the next few months it's going to be incredibly important for women to carve out their special space, their place, and to also have some guarantees around income to provide for themselves and their families. Can I just begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to those elders past and present. I live up on Mount Dandenong, and so my beautiful home is situated on Wurundjeri land. I really honour the beautiful hill on which I live, and acknowledge that this land was never ceded. So, what can I tell you? This is my special room. So I think what I'm going to do to begin with is to just show you my various femo paraphernalia. So you can see this poster at the back. Some of my best friends are feminists. That is a poster from my early days of student femo activism. I really love this poster because it makes feminism look fun, and it's what I associate it with women's organising.
This is my nan's mother's, so my great-grandmother's right to vote card, which she received in 1905, and I'm going to try to go closer so that you can see how old this is. 1905. So she received this in 1905. It was her permission or authorization to vote slip on the basis that she had qualified to vote because of womanhood. So it's one of the earliest pieces of documentation about suffrage. And my great-grandmother kept it, so she thought this was really important, that she got a right to vote slip like this. And when my nan died, my mum found it amongst all of her personal effects, and I was a bit surprised that I'd never seen it before. Anyway, it is mine now to prove I have strong feminist lineage.
I don't think I ever thought that I would be sharing this space in these circumstances. But there you go. We are in uncharted territory with COVID-19, and it's really, I guess, challenging the assumptions that we made about what's our professional identity and what's our personal identity. And that's really what we want. Gen Vic wants this space to be, because women are always navigating that challenge between the personal and the political and the work and the life, and the juggle struggle is a real experience for most women. So we're really looking forward to having this peek into gender equality activists' homes, and we are looking forward to having a chat to them about what they think are the most important issues that are arising from gender and disaster, what they might be working on at the moment. And we also invite you to think about filming yourself at home and showing us your space, because it's going to be so important to all of us over the next few months that we respect and look after ourselves in our own spaces. Before I leave you, I did want to just give a heads up about some of the work that Gender Equality Victoria is doing to champion women and gender diverse people at this really difficult time. So we have been in correspondence to the Minister for Health, making sure that there is a gender lens over the state government's planning for to cope with the pandemic. So we've asked them to keep a good eye on the protection of obstetric and gynecological services for women, to ensure that all of the women who are still going to need to access medical and health services in order to birth their children can do so safely and without the risk of there being cross-contamination from a really dangerous new virus. We've also raised our concerns about what long-term pandemic lockdown in homes means for rates of family violence and gendered violence. So we'll be keeping tabs on that issue and working with a range of different stakeholders across government and the non-profit sector to ensure that we are providing a preventative but also an expert response to what will be we think, a very complicated time in terms of violence management. Many of our members who are part of GenVic are experts in gender and disaster, and they will tell you that there are spikes for family violence. There always are, immediately after a natural disaster, whether it's a bushfire, a flood, or a pandemic. It's a really, really challenging time when people are trying to navigate gender roles within a high stress environment. So we will be, we've expressed our concern to the Minister about that. And the last thing that we really mentioned was about the increased pressure that there will be on women to perform more unpaid labour in the house. So the state of Victoria has already calculated that women do $205 billion worth of unpaid labour. That report was produced by Deloitte in 2019, and it's an extraordinary amount. That is just going to grow exponentially over the course of the pandemic. So that's just a couple of the areas that we're touching on. That we'll no doubt over the next few weeks talk in greater detail about them and about some other issues as well. So that's it from me. Stay safe, stay well, and keep tuning in to A Room of Her Own.